Welcome to the Simplify to Scale systems and boundaries that can solve a lot of designers' pain points and needs. My name is Freya, and we have with us joining and hosting the entire webinar, Melissa Lunardan. Hi.
Hello.
So I thought I might give a bit of an introductory just kind of an introduction to why we're hosting these series of webinars for fellow interior designers and how we think that this could help with freeing up time as well as freeing up stress. Because from what we see from interior designers that are using Programa and are talking with our support team and with our fellow interior designers is that there's so much chaos going on right now. And to have tools and solutions and systems that enable your business to sail through the chaos of the sea of chaos that is going on in the world right now is a blessing and is needed very much so. So this is why Programa has brought Melissa Lunardan, who is an interior designer, a business mentor, and has gone through a lot of the struggles that a lot of you designers have gone through yourselves. We're really excited for her to take you through the systems that have helped her to scale her studio whilst also stepping back from her studio, which is an oxymoron, you think, but it's happened. So it's amazing. And not a lot of people can say that.
No.
Yeah. So as you know, I'm Freya from Programa, and I love the fact that Programa's mission has been to enable the fellow designers to free themselves of basically admin, which is like calling, chasing, sourcing, all of those different things that take you away from the reason why you started a design business in the first place, essentially. So I'm actually really keen to set up a poll for any 25 people that have joined to tell me what your speciality is. So I'll set up the poll right now. And I'm keen to see, I'll close this poll. Actually, I'll go to chat and I'll put in, I'm keen to see what your specialities are in here. Oh, it's not working. Okay, I'm a poll in here for what keeps you up at night. So if anyone's interested, I'm really keen to hear. Okay, so far we've got a couple of answers that building a pipeline of more clients is what keeps you up at night. That's interesting.
Okay.
And I could associate with that for sure. So I'll let that poll run. Okay, they keep coming through. Great. Please tell us what is keeping you up at night and what your major problems are, because I think this is going to be very useful for Melissa to talk to as she talks through a lot of the systems that she has prepared for you all here today.
Wonderful.
Okay, so it's clients, attracting clients, very interesting, and profitability, and losing control of projects due to time delays. Interesting. Yeah. So not too much in terms of changes from clients or contractors or timing delays. Okay.
That's always good.
Great to hear. Yeah, great. But yes, the pipeline of clients and managing that expectation is something that gives you a little bit of anxiety, I could imagine. Yeah. Interesting.
We can talk more into that then for sure.
Great. Okay. Well, I'll let you guys all push through that poll. Oh, and we've also got what's your speciality poll that has been live as well. So, okay, so most of you are from interior design. Great. And a couple from architecture. Interesting. Cool. Very cool. And 1 or 2 from procurement. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Love it.
Love this.
And I think everything that we'll be talking today, it's so transferable. So
yeah, from architecture to interior design, and especially procurement as well, because it's very much top level systems thinking in the presentations, which is really great. Yeah, awesome. Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for telling us all where you're from, what your background is, and what you're looking to solve, essentially. Now that you know what your background, what your problems are, I would love if people could go to the chat section and also tell us a bit like what you envision your ideal design studio to be like what is your end goal? Like, how do you want your design studio to run? How much input do you want in it? What do you want to specialize in? What's your future vision for your business? I'm very keen to hear from people in the chat now that they know, okay, so if my issue is getting more clients, maybe it's developing a network or developing a pipeline that drives a lot more clients automatically to my business. So throughout the presentation, if you guys want to engage with Eliza, she is there for you in the chat, which is very exciting. And hello. Great. Okay. Amazing. All right.
Awesome.
So I think in terms of envisioning the business that you want, that leads us with an amazing segue into handing over to Melissa. So she's also an interior designer and a business mentor, and she's done what you are envisioning in your head right now in terms of what you want your business to be. So the proof is there. And Melissa has shown that you can do it, and you do have people that you've walked through this process towards the business that they envision, which is amazing. Oh, great. Andrew, my studio will capture all the key creatives, architectural overall by interior design and finishing, landscape, and all key players, consultants. Amazing. That's huge. That's a big goal. Incredible. Thank you so much. Okay. Amazing. Melissa, I'll hand it over to you, and I will jump in the chat if anyone wants to keep chatting and giving feedback.
Great. And the preso will come up now, will it?
Yes. So the presentation should be here.
There we go. Yay. Awesome. Thank you.
No worries. Pleasure.
Welcome. So much. Thank you, Freya. And welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming along. 9:30 a.m. on a Monday morning is a big ask, and for those around the world, thank you for staying up. I am Melissa Lunardan. I have been an interior designer for over 15 years. I've been running my own studio for the past 8, being ML Interior Design. Just like all of you, most of you, I work on lots of residential commercial projects in Melbourne. And I have found that over the years, I have, started off as a solo business owner, wearing all the hats, right? And that's what you do when you first start out, because you want to keep your profits and your overheads really lean. You want to keep your overheads really lean so you can increase the profits for yourself. But of course, over time, it meant there was lots of overwhelm because I was the one doing everything. So this is what's really brought on this topic today, because I thought to myself, surely I'm not the only one that is feeling like this. There are other designers out there. And so I wanted to create a community and also be that open book for lots of designers, because our industry, as we all know, everyone keeps their cards very close to their chest. And I love sharing, I love talking, my value is connection. So I wanted to create something for designers and architects and anyone in that creative industry to share and see if there's a better way, a new way, an easier way. So that's where the Design Club, my mentoring side of the business, was born. I worked remotely in New York for 6 months. So back in COVID days in 2022, my husband and I had a moment and just thought, what feels really good? And we always wanted to live overseas, but, a little bit of a taste for it. So we thought, why not try it? And over the coming months, I set up my business to allow the business to work remotely. And that's where lots of systems came in place. So everything I'm going to be sharing today is what I've implemented in my business. And what works for me may not work for you, but you know what? It's worth trying. It's worth exploring, because for lots of us, where we've come from another career, or we've gone from the corporate world into running our own business, we are on autopilot and we are conditioned to run 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, hustle, hustle, hustle. But when we settle into our business, we sort of forget why we started this business in the first place. And, for me, it was for freedom, for flexibility. But what does that actually mean? So, I've been able to create some systems in place to allow the business to support me and not the other way around. So, I also, like I said, I run a mentoring program. I have a 2-year-old daughter, Marigold, which was one of the turning points for ensuring that this business can run without me. I have a gorgeous golden retriever, Lainey, who is sitting right next to me, giving me those puppy dog eyes. And I am a cyclist, but only when it's weather dependent. So I'm not that. Anyway, so what I wanted to chat around today is, yes, when it comes to systems and processes, it doesn't have to be boring and it doesn't have to be long-winded. We just want things to be simplified. And what does it mean when things are simplified, right? Is when things are simplified, it is so much easier, right? And it's all about working harder and not smarter. Being busy doesn't always mean that you are earning lots of money, that you are being productive. We are actually being very reactive when we are busy. So it's all about creating some systems and some mindset shifts in place for us to be proactive and ensure that we can grow the business and that we can ensure our clients and our projects run smoothly. And simplifying also, like I said, means that the business can support us. Because when we start to hustle, we really do get that creative fatigue, right? Where we feel like, oh my God, you're staring in front of that blank screen. You're like, what am I going to do with this project? I keep sourcing from the same suppliers because it's easy, But when things are simplified, when we have boundaries in place, it means we're protecting that creative energy within us, right? And we can get excited again when a new project comes and we can see it all the way through to the end rather than dragging our feet, trying to hope that this project will actually end. And of course, when we talk about scaling and when you see lots of this scaling terminology online, it doesn't necessarily mean overwhelm. It doesn't mean a big office, a big team, and lots of overheads. It actually means the opposite. Scaling means that we can still step up from the business and allow it to run automatically and us not feel overwhelmed as well. So that's what we'll really dig more deeper into today. So one of the biggest mindset shifts for me was when I made the decision to step into the role as CEO. Now, what does it, and what I imagine, what I'd like for you to imagine, is what does a CEO actually do, right? They don't wear all the hats. They're not the ones on emails replying back to everybody. They're not chatting to all the clients. They are the visionaries, right? They are the ones thinking big picture. They're moving the needle forward. And what happens is when you step back from your business, that's where you can create room for growth. And that's when you can get excited about your business. Where do you want to take it? What do you want it to look like? What are the types of projects you actually want to work on? Rather than just being in that reactive mode where we are putting out fires, replying back to emails, working on the most urgent things first because we see that inbox and, we see text messages or calls from builders and clients and architects. When we step out and get a bird's eye view of the business, just for a moment, that's where we can actually work with purpose. And one of the greatest techniques I have found in my business and what I've been educating other designers is to create a CEO day. And I'll talk more into that. Now, that doesn't have to be every week. It doesn't have to be every fortnight. It could be once a month. But really imagining yourself as a CEO in your business and looking at some key fundamentals in mindset, in strategy, in marketing, in money, and those sorts of areas, that's where we can start to simplify and ensure that we start enjoying our business again. Because when we are the only person doing everything, we become the bottleneck, right? Because there's only so much we can do in our business. We are that literally only person who is onboarding clients, who is taking a deposit, who is meeting the clients, who is creating the mood boards, the FF&E schedules, contacting suppliers, creating procurement, all those sorts of things, right? So one thing today, if there is just one takeaway today, it would be to ask yourself, where are you the bottleneck in your business? And that's we can just create some small, simple steps to ensure that we can take ourselves away from that, right? So, for example, for me, it was clients waiting on an email response for me, or sending out a progress payment, right? I would be wondering, why is my cash flow running really low, right? And then I'd look at Xero and be like, oh my goodness, I've got quite a few clients that actually need I can send out some progress payment invoices, right? Rather than waiting for a 50% deposit and a 50% balance, create some systems around how can we ensure that cash flow can run all the way through a client project, rather than every time your cash flow is running low and thinking, oh my God, I need to find a new client. Hurry up, where can I actually, find that new client? Once again, that's being reactive. It's these really key, simple strategies to ensure that money runs smoothly, because when we actually have money coming through the business, it means we can do more with the business, right? Connections with hit and miss. Okay, Andrew, hopefully everyone else is still here. No, lost it. Okay, hopefully everyone else is still around, and we can connect back on. So when we are the bottleneck, we can really, thanks, Janine. So when we can step back, we can really see ourselves as that creative director. Okay, so some people get a bit scared and think, I don't want to be the CEO. I want to still be creative. And I am not telling you that you need to be stepping away from all that creative work, because if that's what lights you up, beautiful. Keep doing that. But it's just creating these little pockets of time within your week, your fortnight, your month, to still sit in that CEO position and think big vision and look at all areas of your business, right? Because I know there's a few of you, when we're looking at the polls, building a pipeline of more projects, right? 36% of you has, that's a really a key issue, right, for lots of us, right? Now, when we try and find new clients, like, great, cool, we've got new clients, we work on the clients, right? Work on the projects. Everything's coming along. And then we look back and we're like, oh, there's no new clients coming in, right? But what's happening is you've probably stopped doing some of those marketing tactics that allow those new clients to come in the first place. So having these CEO days means that you're consistently working on the business, consistently drumming up new projects through your marketing strategies. Because even though you've got clients now, in the background, you still want these to be humming along, right? Build that momentum going. So then when those clients are finished, you still got this pipeline of new clients coming through. So we'll talk more about that in a moment, about really stepping into that CEO energy. And of course, as boring as it sounds, right, there's a really simple technique I have with lots of my mentees around this freedom formula, right? If you want to free up your time to go to Pilates at 11 a.m., not work on Fridays, finish up at 2 o'clock just because you can, then we need some systems in place to do that, right? So when we create that vision, right, you need to start thinking about why you created this business in the first place, and create a system around that. How can you create a simple system to take your clients through? And then, of course, is delegating, right? Delegating doesn't mean, hiring a big team with lots of overheads. What can you actually delegate or automate to make this system easier? And that's where that growth will come in. So taking on that example for me for, progress payments and ensuring that cash flow runs smoothly, what I've done now is I've created a system in place where I can automate my progress payments. I've created an automated onboarding process to ensure that I can get paid without even asking for it. And I know lots of us feel icky asking or reminding clients, can you please, here's a progress payment, please pay me, right? When you have a system in place, right, you are following that checklist of your system, and there is no questions asked if you should send out an invoice. Your system says you should, so you send it out. And when you take the emotion out from your system, your business is actually going to thrive, because everyone's got these, what would you call it? Sorry, I've lost my thoughts. But, of course, we've always got these little setbacks and these little voices in our heads. But if we keep listening to it, right, we are not going to see that momentum that we have in our business when we actually have to step back, take that emotion away, and just follow the process, because we know it works. And please also, as I said, Eliza is in insecurities. Thanks, Freya. Eliza is my studio manager, so she is taking care of the chat. So please let me know if you've got any questions. I want this to be as interactive as possible. So if there's anything you want me to dive into further, please let me know. So as I mentioned, systems, as boring as they are, they will actually help you. And they don't have to be long-winded, they don't have to be expensive, and they don't have to be really big. So before you start thinking, oh, maybe I should hire an assistant, maybe I need someone to do this, to do marketing, brain dump everything that you do when a new inquiry comes through on your website. What actually happens? How do you take them through to a discovery call? Then what happens? How do you put them in for an initial design consult? And then what happens? How do you fill out your design proposal? Then how do you send out? What happens when they want to pay the invoice? Then the concept stage, right? We all know our process. We all have a process. It's all up here. But when it's up here, right, we don't see the little kinks. We don't see where we could make things easier. We can't see if we are making it really long-winded, and maybe there is another way to actually do this. So as simple as creating a Google Doc and doing a brain dump of your whole process. That is when you can start to create a process. And that's when you can make things simplified. Do you really need to take clients? Do you need to have 3 presentation meetings to go through the drawings? Can we actually do one of them over Zoom? Right? Just really simplifying it can make the process run smoother. So then what you do is, once you've created this brain dump, looking at some software options, and of course Programa is one of those, where you can pop everything central for yourself and for clients, rather than having drop boxes and emails and Google Drives. Having everything all central not only makes it easier for you, but you look really professional in front of your clients, having a client portal with their design proposals, their mood boards, their FF&E schedules, all those sorts of things. So ensuring that you have everything in one place makes it really, really easy. And of course, templates makes things super, super simple. Once again, like Programa, having an FF&E schedule in there that you can just use over and over again, and also your proposal. So many designers that start working with me say that it can take them 2 hours to put together a proposal, right? Because they're sitting on it, they're umming and ahhing, they're moving photos around, they're changing the text, all those sorts of things, right? When you have a template and it is locked and loaded, done is better than perfect. You can keep tweaking it, that's okay, but have something that you can stick to, because it should really only take you 20 or so minutes to put together a proposal, right? You're just changing the scope of works. You don't have to worry about changing the design process. Figure that out and have it locked in. Your scope of works is, what you edit, as well as the price. Once again, having a system for that is really going to be time saving as well. And of course, real-time visibility. So ensuring that you have your metrics, ensure that you understand your financials, as simple as knowing how much you are making on each project, for not only for design fees, but for margins too. So if you are working on a project that you're sourcing furniture, homewares, those sorts of things for clients, you can really track how much you are making, because power, you know, when you know your numbers, you have the power to make really, really important decisions. So I have my non-negotiable systems checklist, right? And Programa is fantastic for having auto-generated schedules, your client dashboards, ensuring your mood boards, everything has a template, and ensuring that there's a system for that means that there's no room for you to question things, to make changes, and ensuring that clients, when you feel confident, that's when your clients have full faith and trust in you that, yeah, she knows what she's on about, because she has this beautiful portal. She has, you know, there's progress payments that are ready to go. You have your boundaries in place. When your clients feel confident in you, they are going to be making decisions a lot quicker too. And once again, I'll talk shortly on that weekly CEO report too. So boundaries. Boundaries is super important. And sometimes, right, we can feel a little uneasy when a client says something or texts you or calls you at all hours, and we feel like we have to because we're being reactive, right? But it's super important to have boundaries, because when you have your boundaries in place, that's when you are once again protecting your creativity. So some really simple boundaries you can put in place is letting your clients know your office hours, right? And how you like to communicate. Is it just on email, right? Divert clients if they text you, rather than replying back to them via text. Can you divert them back to email and say, yep, I've got your text, reminding you again, this is our form of communication. Because that is when overwhelm can happen, right? When we have emails from clients, texts, WhatsApps, all those sorts of things, it can be really, really overwhelming and really clutter that creative brain where we want to use it to actually produce amazing work for our clients. Okay, your scope guardrails. Have crystal clear inclusions, once again, in your scope of works. Oh, sorry, I don't know what's happened. No, there we go. Having really simple and crystal clear inclusions with your proposal. How many rounds of revisions are included is really important. And if there's any scope creep, let clients know. If there's something else they want to add down the track, let them know, yep, we can certainly do this, but I'm going to have to charge you, and this is how much it is. Rather than feeling bad because I don't want to ask for money, if it's crystal clear in your design proposal that anything outside of the scope is going to be extra, you've set that expectation with the client, and they are probably going to be very, very well aware of it because they've read through it. You can reiterate it with them as well, but ensure that you have a really simple process if there's any variations. And of course, revisions. Revisions is huge, and that's where lots of designers lose lots of money, is in revisions. We're going backwards and forwards, right? And that's costing us time and money. So letting your clients know right from the start and throughout the process too. For my projects, I allow 2 rounds of revisions. And when I send out that first copy of the presentation, the FF&E schedule, their mood boards, in the email, I let them know. Just a reminder, in your design package, we've included 2 rounds of revisions. And I will let you know when we're coming close to that second round. Anything after that, we do charge hourly, right? It's having those variation processes there. If there is a variation that they want to change after that second round, constantly letting them know, yep, I can do this for you, but it's going to be X amount. Lots of time clients don't want to pay extra, right? So they will keep that boundary in place because they know that you have a process for that. And for me, something that's been really easy for me to implement but been a game changer is actually having a feedback form that I send to clients. So after I've met a client face-to-face or we've presented something over Zoom, I email them a soft copy of their presentation with their drawings, and I say, Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, with meeting me today. It was fantastic. I'm super excited. Here's a copy of the presentation of the documentation we went through. I have attached a feedback form for you to fill out. I want you to just take the time. I'm going to check back in with you in a week's time. I want all decision makers to give me their feedback in this feedback form, because I understand that information can get lost in an email chain. So it's really clear if we have this form, pop everything in there, all your dot points, and then I'll jump on a Zoom call with you after that week's time to look through all your feedback, make sure we've captured everything, and then we'll send you through the revisions that way. That has been a really clear and simple way for me to ensure that our revisions are not going backwards and forwards, and I'm losing money because I'm not charging for these revisions too. And of course, some great boundaries is having some milestone payments too. So ensuring that what I do in my business is I take a 50% deposit and I take a 25% progress payment and a 25% balance of payment just before all the documentation is sent. Now, some of you are probably going to think, at what stage do you send out that 25% progress payment? Usually it's when we've put together some concept 3D images, we've presented face-to-face and done, a flat label, the materials and finishes. We've done maybe 1 round of revisions. At that point, that's when I ask for a progress payment, because there's quite a bit of work involved at that stage too. So another system I love to ensure, like I said, was your CEO checklist. Now, this is something I ideally look at once a fortnight. Does it mean I look at everything? No, but it's good to have a goal to look at. And maybe every 2 weeks, I'll do the first couple of things. So what I've provided for you is a bit of a running checklist for your days, right? So from 9 till 9:30, it's all about that mindset reset, right? Let's look at your big picture goals. And if you haven't had a chance to do that, create something, right? Put something together then. Revisit your annual and quarterly goals too. And if you don't have any of that, maybe that's something you can do in your CEO Mondays, is look at, all right, what are my yearly goals? What are my quarterly goals as well? Because once again, when you know your numbers, and it's not only financial goals too, but it could be the types of projects you want to work on. Do you want to be invited to 3 podcasts and, be a guest on 3 different podcasts to spread your word? Do you want to create some face-to-face workshops this quarter? Having those types of goals that you can revisit ensures that you ensure that needle keeps moving forward in the business. And of course, look at your top 3 wins from last week. We are so driven by, all right, what's next? But we forget about all the accomplishments that we had last week or last month. And it's so important to celebrate that, because when we celebrate those wins, right, we don't focus so much on what we didn't get done, but look at what we did do as well, right? Then we look at some strategy and vision. So look at your revenue, look at your leads. What is your conversion rate too from a discovery call to actually a paid client? It's really important to understand those conversions. Look at your pipeline, right? Look at what you've currently got in the pipeline at the moment with projects. And are there any potential clients we need to follow up on? Have we sent design proposals to them? We haven't heard from them. The sale is always in the follow-up. Then let's look at marketing and visibility. So plan out your social media. You could do it 1 to 2 weeks in advance. I like to batch do it and do it 1 month in advance. And I create some email content on the back of that. So I make it super simple. Whatever I've created in my social media, I then just copy that over and create newsletters from that too. And of course, then it's also important to look at your marketing analytics. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, maybe it's your conversions in your newsletters and your open rates. It's really important to look at those. Where are clients actually seeing you? Because when you understand where the clients are finding you, that's how you can create a marketing strategy, ensure that because if clients have come through you via your newsletter, via an architect, via word of mouth, that's when you know, okay, if that's where my clients are coming from, I'll do more of that, rather than spreading yourself thin and focusing on all different types of marketing strategies. Then it's important to look at your money and your metrics. So look at your cash flow, look at invoices to be paid, and also where you can actually invoice. Update your monthly financial forecast. As boring as that sounds, I actually don't use Xero for this. I just create a really simple Google spreadsheet, and I look at my monthly goals and how many and the number of projects I have actually quoted for, what have actually converted and what haven't. And say for example, I want to hit a 30K month this month. I'm at probably 22,000. Okay, where can I actually find that extra money? Can I reach out to a couple of past clients? Are there some clients already that I've got that I can make more money from? And of course, look at some cost cuts too, right? There are so many overheads that we have in our business. Subscriptions is one of those. So look at your outgoings and understand where you can actually save, rather than constantly subscribing and purchasing bits and pieces too. Networking events, if there's a networking event that you go to that isn't really a return on investment, maybe that's something else that we can cut back on and try a different avenue with marketing. Then, of course, I love to look at your client experience. Look at your project timelines and your client updates. Is there anywhere that you can delegate or automate? So can you automate your onboarding process? Can you set up something through Calendly that clients can easily book in a time to speak with you, rather than you doing it manually backwards and forwards on email? And then look at your current processes and see if there's anywhere for you to improve. Once again, if you haven't created that brain dump of your process, your CEO Monday is a great space to do that. And wrapping it up, so I love to chat with Eliza, my studio manager. We just jump on Zoom, we look at the projects that are coming up. I look at any sort of marketing, any other touch points that I would love for her to work on. I give her tasks for the week, the fortnight, for the month. Knowing that she is doing that in the back end, I truly feel supported, knowing that I'm not the only one and the bottleneck in the business, that I have someone else to support me. It's also important to set your top 3 priorities for the week, and give feedback and recognition to lots of, if you outsource drawings, if you outsource your documentation, any of your social media, it's great to actually say, you know what, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Because when people feel appreciated, they actually want to do more, and they actually, want to work as a team. So that is really, really important too. So just touching a little bit on when I did work overseas in New York, right? It was a great test run to see how the business could work literally without me being in the country. So one of those things was creating that systems checklist, right? And ensuring that I can actually have clients coming through without me being there all the time. Ensuring that clients are still taken care of without me actually being there. So this was a really great test run for then a year later, Marigold came into the picture, and I could ensure that I could have maternity leave and not work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. I choose to have Marigold in daycare 2 days a week. And the rest of the time, my team support me and my processes support me. So even when I am with Marigold, work is still getting done as well. A little bit of a mini case study, because once again, I love to celebrate my mentees. And Taylor from Ohio in the United States, she is a fantastic designer. She came to me when she was working behind the scenes in her business and realized that she wanted to make a red hot go of it and go with a tailor-made design. So what we've done is we had adopted some templates. She started charging for an initial design consult, right? those little simple tweaks. She was able to double her revenue in the first 4 months and actually hire her first virtual assistant, meaning that she can now take on more projects without the overwhelm, without being the bottleneck in the business too. And Gally from Key Interiors, she is a gorgeous interior designer from Melbourne, where she came from a marketing background to being, studied interior design and wanted to go full-fledged into her own business. She wanted to ensure that she had an exit strategy with her marketing career, and worked with me for 4 months. And that was the 4 months lead time she had to go from working for somebody else to working in her business. So during those first 4 months, she had her first 20K design fee. And after 2 weeks, she implemented a clear onboarding process that she could easily automate and set up time for business development, right? So ensuring that clients can keep coming in without having to hustle as well. So because I just don't want you to watch this webinar and just go on your merry way, I would love for you to create some really quick wins for you this week. And one of those things is look at your to-do list for this week and highlight the tasks that do you actually need to do it? Can someone else do it? Or can you automate it? And automating it doesn't mean big, expensive software options. It can be really simple, free, or affordable options too. The next one is, can you create some boundaries for yourself? Can you easily pop in an email signature to say these are your working hours? That you only, maybe you can set up your calendar that, you only have Mondays and Wednesdays to see clients face-to-face, right? By batching your meetings, you are not wasting your week driving around endlessly Monday to Friday, chasing your tail. Once again, when you set clear boundaries, you are protecting your creativity. Can you actually batch your communication, right? Rather than constantly working your computer and having your inbox tab open and constantly looking at that number going up and thinking, I need to quickly reply, I invite you to close off your email tab and choose 2 times in the day for you to check your emails and stick to it, right? Maybe you look at it first thing in the morning because we can be very reactive and then we get lost track of time and it's 11 o'clock and we haven't started any work. So I invite you to maybe open up your emails at 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock and set a timer, or pop it in your diary as a calendar invite as a task, and they're the times that you check your inbox and try and stick to that. I found that to be a really, really simple and easy way for me to stop getting out of just being that reactive mode. There is a fantastic book called The 4-Hour Workweek, and Tim Ferriss just really hones in on that. And it's a really great book that got me to actually start thinking about setting up some really easy ways for me to protect my boundaries and protect my time as well. So the next little takeaway is to actually have some frequently sent emails in your draft folder. Are there some emails that you are constantly writing? Can you create some draft emails that you can easily amend every time you need to send that out, rather than you writing it out every time? For me, I have some draft emails for when a client has paid and I say thank you. I have a client, an email template for that feedback form. I have an email template for the progress payments. I have a template for follow-ups for when a potential client hasn't signed their proposal and they haven't gone ahead. A week later, there is a follow-up email that gets sent out to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I see you haven't replied. Just want to make sure if you have any questions, let's jump on a quick Zoom call if you want. So there are some really, really small, quick wins that you can create some change into your business. So if you wanted to talk more and understand how to actually work with me as a business mentor, I have 3 really easy but exciting ways to work together. I offer a VIP business audit. So that is a full day face-to-face here in Melbourne, or if you are interstate or overseas, we do this via Zoom. So it is a great way to do a deep dive into your business, look at your challenges, look around your big picture vision, and create some clarity and some systems for setting you up for success. If you want to work with me on a more intimate sort of level, I do offer a private one-on-one 4-month program, which is where you see really great results, because every fortnight we are chatting over Zoom and we are setting you accountable. We are creating steps for change. And once again, just like the CEO Monday, having me to check in with every fortnight means that you are constantly making small wins and some changes for growth. And I also have a brand new program, which is called the Design Club. It is an affordable way to work with me in a group, really intimate group setting. I'm only taking on 5 designers for this next cohort, which starts in September. It includes fortnightly group calls, and there is an option to upgrade if you want further support. I do have an option to work with me monthly as well within that group too. So there is just below in the left-hand corner, you'll see you can book in a free clarity call with me. There's no fuss, no pressure, anything at all. We can sit together on the phone for 30 minutes to really understand where you're at, where are these struggles, and how we together can create some change for you. So please let me know if you have any questions at all in the chat. Like I said, I am an open book. I love to share what works for me, but also if there's easier ways that, what have you found in your business? I would love to hear from you. And I may just quickly check the chat, but I think we seem to be good. So I will also send out after today's webinar is this beautiful printable CEO Monday checklist. I have it as a CEO Monday because Mondays are a great way for you to feel inspired, for you to take action, for you to take those really simple steps to create change in your business. So many templates, that makes my job so much easier. Yes. So Eliza is my studio manager. So she is a queen at organizing, but also I've created systems that she can easily follow too. So if I'm away sick, which I was 2 weeks ago, Marigold was sick, and then of course I became sick, and I noticed, my goodness, nothing is getting done in the business because I'm not there, right? So I went to a bit of a freak out mode, but then I just sort of came back down and thought, right, I have Eliza with me. I have some systems in place that allow me to literally step back from the business, and I can ensure that the templates can easily follow, that Eliza can actually use, and ensure that our clients are being taken care of, they feel supported, and the world isn't going to end because I'm away for 2 weeks. So it makes a really big difference. All righty. If that is it, there is that handout. So there is a copy of the webinar you can easily download for you to reference later. In terms of pipelines and bringing in new clients, what are some of the ways you're seeing good results for your business? Okay, so Shelley-Ann, great question. So I would look at, where have you found your past clients, right? For me, my clients don't always come from Instagram, because lots of people think, I don't have any clients, let's start posting on Instagram, right? But if that's not where your clients are coming from, you are wasting valuable time and resources doing that. So for me, a really handy tool is when you have a form for clients to fill out, to chat on the phone with you. One of the simple questions is, how did you find out about us, right? And that is one of the metrics I constantly look at on my CEO Monday in my checklist. And for me, it is word of mouth, builders, architects. So I ensure that I'm constantly chatting to architects, chatting to builders, going to some networking events. And rather than being salesy, it's like, hey, so-and-so builder, how are you going? I'm around the area this week. I want to drop a couple of coffees around. Are you free? And it is just that connection. People value that connection, and it's bringing you to the front of their mind. And when you're having a coffee with them, it's saying, hey, look, how are your projects going? Are there any projects that, your clients are may need a bit of a hand on. This is something we can help with. It's just reminding them, right? And ensuring that that is part of your CEO Monday, is having some great ways for clients to come through the pipeline. Another way is, as scary as it is cold calling, is reaching out. Who are the types of clients you want to work with? For me, clients who are working on big, beautiful homes. I eventually want to get to some really amazing projects. So they are working with architects. They are really employing those design professionals. So I am reaching out to them and saying, hey, this is what I do. Rather than actually just an email, we all got those emails, right, that say, hey, I do 3D renders. Do you have any projects for us, right? I myself automatically delete them. Create something that's going to stand out. Either it's a phone call or it's creating a Loom video, just like this. Share your screen and say, hey, how you going? I just wanted to introduce myself. This is who I am. This is what I do. Here's an example of some of the 3D renders we create for our clients. Here's a copy of our FF&E schedules. We make it really easy for your clients. When you try and hit on those pain points, they are more likely to say yes. So the pain point for some architects and draftees is they don't want to be picking colours and finishes for clients. They want to create that big picture, creating the working drawings for the overall floor plans. And then some of them actually want to hand over the materials and finishes, and sometimes even doing the 3D renders. So letting these people know this is what you do can really start a really great relationship. Alongside Programa, what other software do you use? Does it take care of most of things? Yeah, look, there is not at the moment that unicorn. A software does absolutely everything. Drawing software, yeah, we use SketchUp a lot. We use Revit depending on the types of projects. I use Programa for lots of my client dashboards, FF&E schedules. For the onboarding process, I use something like Subsada, which helps automate things. And Calendly is a really great, cheap and affordable way to set up some really quick and easy processes for you. Thank you. You can check your CEO checklist. Yeah, look, and this is something that it's an ideal world, right, of things that you can look at, but maybe you can break it down, and every fortnight you just do 4 dot points or something like that. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves. So when we feel overwhelmed, we just stop and we procrastinate and we do nothing at all. We don't want to do that. We actually want to keep these small changes.
Yeah, agreed. I think off the back of that, in terms of other tools or processes that would help, I'll share a link to the demo on demand within Programa, because I think there are a ton of questions in terms of like managing CRM and managing leads and kind of having that process from clients to project setup, dashboard setup, approval processes, and just kind of managing that conversation with suppliers as well, and sourcing things like that. There is something very exciting in regards to drawing software that's coming up in the next half of this year. So stay tuned for that. We haven't released much press around that, but we have something in the works, which is actually really exciting in terms of syncing drawing packages into Programa, which is
that's really exciting.
I know it's too much, but it's exciting. But yeah, off the back of that, I think if designers aren't fully aware of Programa or the full capacity that it has in terms of project management, client dashboards, client approval processes, those take they're probably like layer 2 in terms of getting into using those features and packages. The best practice webinar video is something to look at, and I'd recommend that. But then, the other aspect of that is, taking that step back, like Melissa said, in mapping out your processes and your systems and having the templates within projects. So, we do have in Programa, when you do getting started, you do have those 2 different types of templates, but you can create more than one template depending on the types of projects that you have. We've seen some really robust templated projects set up that has like the emails already written, and has the stages, it has the milestones, it has progress payments, those types of systems as well within that, which not a lot of people have been able to kind of get into just yet. I think it's a learning process. So,
and that touching on that as well, like you can see how like your timeline as well with all the projects, and I think that's really important. I can't remember that type of graph it's called.
Yeah,
but
the timeline view. Yeah.
What is it? Sorry?
The timeline view.
Timeline view, yeah. I find that's really important to look at weekly, fortnightly, because that's when you can look at, okay, when a project, where have I got gaps?
Exactly.
And that's when you can start, or, ensuring that you keep that marketing going, bringing in new clients, because when you have that clarity, that's when you can actually do something about it before it becomes a problem. And you're like, okay, I have no money. I need new clients. Yeah.
Preemptively solving problems before they happen. My partner is in
Absolutely.
construction as well, and he uses a very advanced project management system as well, where you do have to have that overlay of, okay, we have plaster coming in, then it's paint, then it's carpet, etc. For those levels. So that's I agree. Look, preemptively solving problems is what saves headaches and time and insecurities for asking for money or saying something went wrong based on X, Y, Z. Yeah. Yes. Amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else meant to say? No, I think that's all good. If anyone has any more questions around this webinar, please put it in the chat or reach out to us via email. And of course, we'll send the follow-up email with the recording and with the handouts from this presentation. I think we've shared all of the links, booking a clarity call with Melissa, learning a bit more about Melissa's mentorship and business practices. I've shared a best practice video for how to learn about Programa and how it could be implemented into those systems that Melissa was talking about. Everyone's always welcome to a 7-day free trial. That's very simple. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and your systems, because not a lot of, especially in Australia, in the US, it's a little bit more open, but in Australia, it does feel like you keep your cards close to your chest, because you want to make sure that you get as many clients as possible. But in reality, if you have your system set up and if you are networking with other interior designers, other architects, there is room to share,
and there's enough work for everybody.
Exactly. And generating work together is even like it just snowballs, I've seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Yes, have a great week yourself. All right, bye everyone.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.